Very much. Now, some people run to the beach for fun, but our next guest ran through a lot of sand with hardly any water to be found. Ultra runner Kai Bretz took part in the Big Red Run, a gruelling 250-kilometre journey through the Aussie desert.
Yeah, in fact, he beat the race record by more than 5 hours. He also ran away with an award at a 24-hour event in France. But to achieve so much, it took a big change in his mindset. Turning right. Kai joins us now from Melbourne. Kai, good morning. It's such a pleasure to speak to you. I find you so inspiring. Some people would find you mad. Why would you want to run through a desert?
Good morning. I wanted to do that in order to challenge myself, to really stretch my limits and see what is possible. And I have to admit, when I signed up, I was scared. I probably was terrified. All those voices in my head which said, I can't do this, I'm not good enough, I will fail. And then I embarked on a journey to master the inner game.
Now, of course, this wasn't your first rodeo. You've done marathons and other events, but on harder surfaces. What was it like to hit the desert sand, and were there snakes or other hazards?
Well, running on sand is tough. You easily get bogged down, but then look at the footage. It was just so rewarding running through the Simpson Desert and being far away from civilization. So luckily I didn't encounter any snakes there. Probably the biggest risk was getting lost, but we had a GPS tracker, so it was all in all a very safe event.
It's great. I had mentioned before there, I was looking for something of inspiration for my own mental strength in my running and just trying to get myself through races. And then I came across your own book, which is fantastic. It's one thing finishing a race, but how do you beat a race record by 5 hours?
Well, probably what you already alluded to, it's not the physical fitness first and foremost. It's really the mental game and learning how to deal with the unexpected. So that is what I did up front, of really seeing how do I just stay present? How do I tap into my intuition? And what excites me about that is that it has nothing to do with running. Anybody can do it, and we will all be surprised of how much more we are capable when we embrace a challenge and when we let go of that fear of failing.
So you can just take a break, like the video
Yeah,
there.
exactly. Your life's been filled with moments when you've overcome barriers. Tell us about growing up in Germany and a problem that used to anger your father.
Yes, so I grew up in a household with a lot of domestic violence. So my father could be extremely aggressive, and he was very unpredictable. But one thing was for sure, whenever he had a lot of time at hand and got bored, that's when I was probably most at risk. So I hated going on family holidays because those were just those moments.
I'm sorry to hear. That is heartbreaking. You say that you can achieve anything in life if you just turn right. But what does that actually mean?
Yeah, so turning right really is a metaphor of what we need to do to overcome our biggest challenges. So what happened to me a few years ago was that I left my house and accidentally turned right at my garden gate. Now, that sounds like a simple choice of direction, but what you need to know is I had never turned right at that junction. I'd always left the house, turned left, turned left, turned left, completely on autopilot. And that's probably how many of us lead our lives. I certainly did. And when I noticed that when I started, metaphorically speaking, turning right, so embracing my challenges, entering uncharted territory, and just seeing where that new path leads to, that's where the magic lies. And that's what each one of us is capable of.
It's inspiring stuff, Kai. Your book is called Turning Right, Inspire the Magic, and it's out now. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you. I love the book.
Well, after the break, the Melbourne film